Okay, exercise 2b, so still sticking with indices. So we're trying to write these ones in the form ax to the power n, which is a little bit more tricky, but these are very, very common in A-level maths. So first one is 5 root x. So we need to realise with this one that the square root is the same thing as to the power of a half. So we're going to write this as 5x to the power 1/2. Right, next one, we've got 2 over x cubed. So this time we need to bring this x cubed up to the top, and to bring something up to the top, we're going to use a negative index. So we get 2x to the minus, that's what's brought it up, and it's still cubed, so we keep the cube there. Right, next one, we've got 3 over the square root of x. So 2 things we need to do this time. We need to bring up the x, and then we need to change the square root. So it's kind of like a mix of question 1 and 2 here. So first of all, let's write the square root as the power of a half. So we're going to get 3 over x to the half. And now we're in a similar situation to here. So we want to bring this x term up. We want to bring this x term up. So we're just going to put a minus in front of the power. So we get 3x to the minus 1/2. Okay, question 4, we got root x over 5. Now we don't want to touch the 5. The 5 is just a number, it's not going to affect anything. We can have a fifth as a, so let's just leave the 5 where it is. What we do want to do is change this root x into x to the power half again. So we're going to get 1 over 5 x to the power 1/2. Okay, back to question 5 then. So we got 2x over 3 all squared. So to do this, we're going to square the top of the fraction, and then we're going to square the bottom of the fraction. And it's kind of like when you're timesing 2 fractions together, you times the tops together, times the bottoms together, or both fractions will be 2x, or 2x times 2x is going to be 4x squared, and then we're going to square the bottom and get over 9. So if we want to write in the form ax to the n, it's going to be 4/9 x squared. Okay, question 6. We've got 1 over the cube root of x. So again, 2 bits. We want to bring the x up and we want to sort this root out. So let's do the root first. So we're going to get 1 over x to the power. A cube root is a third. Similar how a square root is a half. A fourth root would be a quarter, and so on and so on. So cube root is third. Now we're going to bring this up to the top. So we're going to get x to the minus 1/3. That minus tells us that we've brought it up. We've taken the reciprocal of it. Okay, question 7. So 2 root x all cubed. So there's a few ways we could think about this one. Easiest way, first of all, is to change our root x into x to the power half. So I'm going to write it out the same again. 2x to the half all to the power 3. And now we need to make sure that everything in this bracket is cubed. The whole bracket has the cubed applied to it, so we need to cube the 2 and cube the x to the half. 2 cubed is easy. 2 cubed gives us 8. And then x to the half cubed, we're going to times these powers together, so we get x to the power 3 over 2. Question 8. 4 over 3x to the 5. These ones always kind of trick students. We don't want to bring the 3 up to the top. The 3 is happy where it is. So all we want to do is bring our x to the power 5 up to the top. So again, it's going to be a negative power. So we're going to get 4 over 3 x to the power minus 5, leaving the 4 and the 3 exactly where they are. Question 9, root x over 3x. So we've got to do a bit of division this time. So again, we'll write that root as power half. So we're going to get x to the power 1/2 divided by 3x. Now the 3, again, we're not going to touch it. We're just going to leave it exactly where it is. So we can even write that outside of what's going on. Now we need to work out x to the half divided by x. We can imagine this is x to the 1, so you can write that in if you want. That's going to be half. Take away 1 is the rule. So we end up with 1/3 x to the power minus a half. Okay, question 10, 3x squared over root x. It's very similar to the last one. We just got the root on the bottom now. So the same thing again, we'll start off by writing it as power half. So you get 3x squared over x to the half. And now we need to do the same idea again. We need to subtract our powers. So to take a half, which is going to leave us with 1.5, which is 3 over 2. So we get 3x to the power 3 over 2. Question 11. Yeah, it will be. So question 11 is x minus 2 over x squared. It says in the hint here, the answer to this one has 2 separate terms. So this is going to split up into 2 fractions. So we can write it as x over x squared minus 2 over x squared and split it up that way. So x over x squared minus 2 over x squared. Now that rule you can only do if there's one term on the bottom of the fraction. You're always allowed to do it when there's one term on the bottom. If you've got more than one term, and by that I mean 2 different things added together, you can't do this. So now we've got it written like this, we can simplify this one. So x to the power 1, remember, divided by x squared is going to be 1 take 2. So we're going to get x to the power minus 1. Here we want to bring this x squared up to the top, so it's going to be minus 2x, we brought up to the power minus 2. Okay, 3 left. So it gets quite a bit harder with these 3, and this is kind of similar to what you might be getting on the test. So question 12, we've got 1 over 2x squared y. And we want to bring all of this up to the top. Now, the 2 again, we don't want to touch. We'll leave that exactly where it is. So 1 over 2. We want to bring up the x to the power minus 2. Oh, sorry, we want to bring up the x power 2, gave it away there, which is going to be x to the power minus 2 because we're bringing it up. And we want to bring the y up as well. So we're going to call that y to the power minus 1. There we go. Question 13, we've got 27 x to the power 6, y to the power 5, all to the power 1/3. Lovely question there. So the key point here is we need to cube root, because that's what this means, every single one of these terms, the 27, the x and the y. So the cube root of 27 is nice and easy, it gives us a 3. Then we have to do x to the 6th to the 3rd. So the best way to imagine that is it's x to the 6th to the power 3rd, and then looking at our indices rules, we know we need to times these together. So 6 times a 3rd is the same as 6 divided by 3, which gives us x to the power 2. The y, again, we can write it out separately, so y to the 5 to the power 3rd. We're going to times those together, and we get 5 divided by 3, which we can't simplify. So we get y to the power 5 over 3. Okay, it might be worth going over that one again, but we're just making sure every bit inside the bracket is brought up to that power of a 3rd. Okay, question 14, last one. So we got 16x squared over y all to the power minus a quarter, which is similar to what we did last time. So we have to make sure every term here is brought to this power of minus a quarter. So again, we can pick the order. So we can either do the 4th root of everything first, or we can flip it using the reciprocal for that minus sign. So I think, yeah, let's get rid of the minus first and flip this fraction. So we're going to get y over 16x squared to the power of a quarter. So we've just flipped the fraction so far. The y bit is easy. We're just going to get y to the power of a quarter. And then we need to bring these bits up and put them to the power of a quarter at the same time. So a 4th root of 16 will give us 2. So we can put 2 on the bottom there. And a fourth root of x to the power 2, or we can imagine timesing these powers together. We're going to get 2 times a quarter, which is going to be a half. So we get x to the power half there. Last step, we just want to bring this back up. So we'll leave the 2 where it is. So we're going to get 1/2 y to the quarter x to the power minus a half, because we've brought it from there up to the top of the fraction and left the 2 where it is because it's got nothing to do with the x's that we need there. Okay. So if you need any more help with these, read through them again, watch the video slower, rewind bits, or have a look at the extra linked exercises in the workbook.